My name is Christian. I live here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Currently, I am studying at the university. I'm doing a double major in psychology and Spanish and a supplementary major in Latin American studies. My story, how does it start? I guess when I was a kid, my parents aren't very religious, or they weren't at the time. And they, of course, baptized me because that was the that was the thing to do. And I had a godfather who was a Christian minister, so that was expected. And when I was baptized, they did the whole thing. And as I got older, my mother was planning on homeschooling me. I was supposed to be at home all the time, and she wanted to take care of me and try and keep me from some of the problems of this world, I guess. And she ended up getting sick with cancer, and the doctors had told her that she had 6 months to live. And so she thought, well, what am I going to do for him? And so she decided to put me in a private school, which was a Catholic school out here. And so I went to the Catholic school, and all my friends were all Catholic, of course. So as time went on, and I went to my first communion, I was like, well, I want to be Catholic too. I mean, I didn't want to be out of my friends. All my friends were. So I became Catholic. I did the initiation, like the baptism, communion, confirmation, and everything. And even before that, I would always go to Mass because we'd have Mass on Wednesdays, and I would sit there and I'd look up at the priest and I'd think, wow, look at that guy. He's so cool. Like, imagine being him. All my friends were talking about being doctors and lawyers and policemen, firemen, like construction workers, whatever. And I was thinking, man, I want to be a priest one day. That'd be cool. So I went through and I went through like my Catholic education, and then I went to high school. And in high school, I was still involved in the church. I altar served. I helped with retreats, training. Just whenever they'd call me, I'd always go. I'd be like, yeah, I'm happy to help. So I'd show up and I'd help set up for masses, things like that. And then college came, and I kept going to Mass, and I became more and more involved. And I was going every Sunday, and whenever I could make it during the week, I'd stop by. And people really felt like they could rely on me there, so I felt comfortable with that. And most recently, after my 3 years in college, a man came up to me and he said, you know what, you're the future of the church. You are the future of this church. And I said, oh, well, I appreciate that. I don't know that I could do much. And he said, the youth are the future, and I want to find you something. I want you to work here. And I was like, well, I would love to if you give me the opportunity, or if you have something I could do. And so he started up this internship, and I'm now working at my church. And I, visit people at their homes. I go to nursing homes, hospitals, kind of wherever the church calls me. And I guess what I've learned is that sometimes we don't always expect where Jesus is calling us. Sometimes I always thought, like, oh, eventually I'll make it, or eventually I'll be a priest one day, maybe. But I think God calls us in those, like, most trying and most difficult times, because I wasn't sure before this. I was thinking, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Some days I'd be, oh yeah, I'm going to be a priest one day, and the next day I'd be like, no way, why would I want to be a priest? But I think God always calls us. And I've been fortunate. I have a bunch of friends that are priests. If you're ever thinking about being a priest, make sure you surround yourself with them. See what they live like, see their lives, see what they do, see what kind of people they are. Because sometimes I think you're surprised. We look at priests as these such holy and such amazing people that, oh, I can never be like one of them. But they're humans, and they're amazing people to talk to. But now, where do I go from here will be a interesting story, I guess. Maybe I can come back and tell you sometime. But I hope that one day God will tell me for a fact. I'd love for him to come down and just say it. That'd be a lot easier than thinking about it all the time. And if I become a priest, then I'll be happy. If I don't, and that's what God calls me to, I'll be happy too. I guess what I do now is I go to the Blessed Sacrament almost daily. Some days I miss, you get busy, but almost daily, and ask God. I sit there and I just say, God, what do you want me to do? You tell me and I'll go. And I just sit there for a few minutes, and I read like from the Bible, or like these little booklets that we have with like stories or things like that from church. And I think about it and I just say, where do you want me? And sometimes the answer, like I said, is so clear. I could pinpoint exactly where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. And then the next day, is so not it's not so clear at all. But I hope that one day I'll find out for a fact, and I'm sure that God will come and tell me. I'm sure it'll come. One day, a priest told me, he was telling me about a story, and he said, well, he's like, I had always thought about it, and, he wasn't sure, and then one day he just decided, he was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. Why not? Try it. And so he tried it, and he loved it, and so I think about that sometimes, and maybe I should just try it. Maybe that's what it'll be. And another one also told me that the best way to find out is to just go for it. So those things keep echoing in my mind all the time. Just try it. Just try it. And Monsignor, he's the pastor at my church, and he told me that before he went to seminary, he had never even thought about it. He went to Mass because his parents went to Mass, and he never even thought about it. And he told me one day, he was like, I went to the Blessed Sacrament every day, and I'd sit there and I'd say, God, what do you want? What do you want me to do? Because he wasn't sure. He was going to be graduating high school, and he needed to know. And in his mind and in his heart, he could always hear seminary, seminary, seminary. And so he decided, and he went. And it's a difficult time because I'm also an only child. And so it's hard to know, because you want to fulfill those dreams of having, kids and carrying on your family name, and my parents being able to say, oh yeah, we have our grandkids, or one day maybe great grandkids or whatever. But I guess if God is calling you to this, then you go, right? You answer. So I ask, the only thing that I ever ask, and I ask whoever watches this video one day, that when you say a prayer, always ask for God to guide you, and always be happy to say yes, because I think that's really important. Thank you.